It is 2 a.m. Your body is physically exhausted, your eyes are heavy, and your room is completely silent. You are desperate for sleep, yet your mind is running a marathon at full speed. Instead of resting, your brain is forcefully replaying a random conversation from 3 years ago, dissecting a minor mistake you made last Tuesday, and building worst-case scenarios about your future. You try to force your thoughts to stop, but the harder you push, the louder the internal noise becomes. Why does an organ designed for your survival turn against you when you are at your most vulnerable? The answer isn't that your mind is broken, it is that you are trapped in a beautifully engineered psychological loop, and once you understand its mechanics, the noise finally stops. Thinking is a tool, it has a clear beginning, an active problem-solving phase, and a definitive end. Overthinking, or clinical rumination, is completely different. It is a state where your cognitive gears are spinning rapidly, but they are completely detached from the wheels of action. The danger arises because your brain frequently mistakes rumination for actual productivity. Aaron Beck, the pioneer of cognitive therapy, noted that the human mind naturally craves a sense of control over its environment. When you overthink, your brain tricks itself into believing that worrying about a problem is the exact same thing as solving it. Eventually, this illusion transforms healthy reflection into a dangerous mental loop. Your thoughts travel along the exact same neural pathways over and over, digging a deeper cognitive groove each time. You are effectively driving a car on a racetrack, moving incredibly fast but fundamentally going nowhere. Understanding this distinction is crucial because you cannot escape a trap until you realize you are inside it. The constant mental exhaustion you feel isn't from the world around you. It is the direct result of a highly sophisticated internal survival system that has accidentally gone into overdrive. To understand why your mind naturally gravitates toward worry, we have to look thousands of years into our evolutionary past. Our ancestors survived in environments filled with immediate, lethal threats. In that world, an optimist who ignored a rustle in the bushes didn't survive, the pessimist who assumed it was a predator lived to see tomorrow. This evolutionary pressure gifted us with what psychologists call the negativity bias. Research suggests that human brains are naturally wired to process negative information far more intensely than positive experiences. Evolution fundamentally cared about keeping you alive, not keeping you happy. Consider a simple, relatable modern example. You receive 10 glowing compliments at work, but one minor piece of criticism. By the time you drive home, the 10 compliments have completely vanished from your mind, and that single negative comment is the only thing occupying your thoughts. Your brain isn't trying to sabotage your peace, it is simply treating that modern piece of criticism like an ancient predator in the bushes. The key takeaway is that your anxiety is often just misplaced survival data. Modern neuroscience has pinpointed the exact electrical grid responsible for this internal noise, the default mode network, or DMN. This network activates automatically the exact second your mind becomes idle. Whenever you are washing dishes, folding laundry, or staring out a window, the DMN turns on and immediately directs your thoughts inward. Think of it as your brain's background screensaver. Instead of letting you rest, this internal storyteller steps in, constructing narratives about who you are, what people think of you, and what might go wrong next. A famous Harvard study indicates that a wandering mind is almost universally an unhappy mind. You do not overthink because you lack willpower. You overthink because your brain naturally defaults to intense self-scrutiny whenever it is left unguided. To stop the loop, you must learn how to intentionally disrupt this default network before it pulls you under. Have you ever randomly remembered an intensely awkward social interaction from high school, and felt a sudden, physical wave of shame wash over you? This happens because your memory system is deeply intertwined with your deepest, most primal fear, social rejection. For an ancient human, being cast out of the tribe was a literal death sentence. Because the stakes were so incredibly high, our brains developed an acute sensitivity to social errors. One possible explanation for why these embarrassing memories remain so vivid is that they serve as psychological warning signs, violently reminding you not to repeat behaviors that could alienate your peers. Imagine walking into a room of colleagues and noticing two people whispering while looking in your direction. Your mind instantly leaps to the worst possible conclusion, assuming they are judging you. Your brain values social safety so much that it prefers to invent a negative narrative rather than risk being dangerously caught off guard. The vividness of your past shame is not a reflection of your current worth, it is merely an ancient alarm system reminding you to stay safely connected to the group. The modern world has introduced a brand new catalyst for overthinking that our ancestors never had to face, an overwhelming infinity of choice. From choosing a career path to selecting something to watch on television, we are bombarded with endless options every single day. Psychologist Daniel Schwartz famously termed this phenomenon the paradox of choice. When faced with too many variables, the brain experiences profound analysis paralysis. Your mind begins to believe that if it just gathers 5% more data or thinks for 3 more hours, it will make the mathematically perfect, risk-free choice. Think about standing in a grocery store aisle, staring at 30 different types of olive oil, feeling a strange, creeping sense of anxiety. This is decision fatigue in action. Your brain is expending precious energy on trivial options, leaving you cognitively depleted when it comes time to handle major life choices. The harsh reality is that more thinking frequently leads to significantly worse decisions. Perfection is an illusion that breeds paralysis, and true mental freedom only begins when you accept that an imperfect action beats a perfect thought every single time. When your mind stays trapped in this state of continuous analysis, your body pays a steep biological price. Overthinking forces your brain to interpret abstract worries as actual physical threats. This triggers a steady, subtle release of stress chemicals that lock your nervous system into a state of high alert. This chronic mental exhaustion directly ruins your sleep. Because your brain genuinely believes it is under attack, it refuses to let you drop into deep rest, causing you to wake up feeling drained. This creates a vicious cycle. A tired brain loses its emotional control, leading to even more overthinking. Furthermore, this internal noise severely cripples your daily performance. You might sit down to work, but your focus is entirely occupied by background anxieties. You are forced to read the exact same sentence 4 times just to comprehend its basic meaning. Mental fatigue is a physical reality that slowly shrinks your world. You are actively burning cognitive fuel to fight imaginary battles, leaving your real life starved of the energy it desperately needs. To break this loop, you must move away from generic advice and utilize frameworks backed by behavioral psychology. The first step is an intentional brain dump. By physically writing your thoughts down on a piece of paper, you externalize your anxiety, moving it from the abstract loops of your working memory into a structured, physical reality. Next, implement the 5-minute action rule based on the research of Judson Brewer. The moment you catch yourself ruminating on a decision, force yourself to take one microscopic, imperfect action toward a solution within 5 minutes. Action dramatically shatters the illusion that worry is productive, forcing your brain out of the default mode network. Additionally, practice cognitive reframing by actively challenging your thoughts. When a worst-case scenario appears in your mind, do not accept it as a fact. Instead, ask yourself, what is the actual, objective evidence for this thought? You cannot simply tell your brain to stop thinking, but you can change how you respond to the noise. By introducing small, deliberate buffers between your thoughts and your actions, you gradually train your neural pathways to seek peace instead of panic. Your brain is not an enemy trying to hurt you. It is simply a deeply exhausted organ trying its absolute best to protect you using a survival system designed for a world that no longer exists. As the legendary psychologist Daniel Kahneman reminded us, we are often blind to our own blindness. You are not the loud, chaotic thoughts passing through your mind, you are the calm observer watching them pass by. In our next chapter, we look at a confusing social mystery, the hidden psychology of why people suddenly lose interest in you, and how your brain processes unexpected rejection. To ensure you don't miss that chapter, subscribe to Psychology Decode and turn on notifications. Stay focused, stay aware, and step out of the trap.